Thank you all for sticking around. I have one more thing before you depart, and that is I need to ask Matua Kevin's going to come up and do that thing that we discussed, Matua Kevin. And I'm just going to ask Sean if he can just move that table down to the end. And can I ask Andrea Byrom to come up, please, and also John Walsh, if you could come up, please. You can stay there if you want. Why? Just come up here, Matua. So, come up. I'm going to bite, but just a little bit. So, as Te Tira Whakamātaki was establishing itself, go into the middle, we had a number of helpers along the way. We also had lots of people who growled us and told us off, and I think John sat in a few of those meetings, but not saying that it was John. But we wanted to acknowledge two people in particular, and of course Danbi, who's travelled this way. John has had more than 15 years public affairs and communications experience, is that right? A lot more. Wow. You're very young looking then. You've held lots of senior roles, but your latest one, as many of you will know, is Director Communications and Channels, is that right, at MPI? And one of his specialties, if you read his LinkedIn, is working with stakeholders and communities, is that right? So that was tested in the Middle-Rust response when John was thrown onto the marae floor and basically blamed for all of MPI's woes. But John braved the mana whenua and our kaitiaki, and despite his hate for aeroplanes, he came to, I think, all 16 of our regional hui around. Yeah, and he also went in to fight for Te Tira Whakamātaki when we wanted to train our kaitiaki on Middle-Rust surveillance. And he led the development of a surveillance program for about 118 kaitiaki. So he also was responsible, I know he didn't do all the work, but he was responsible for getting 118, as you can imagine, kaitiaki to 3 venues to be trained. And that in itself is a feat, trying to organise our kaitiaki, and I know Waitangi spent a lot of time helping with that. He has been patient, fair, open and inclusive throughout the whole process, and we really appreciate all the support you've given to Tira Whakamātaki, and so we have a wee taonga for you and a certificate of appreciation. Don't fall for that.
I'm so shocked I fell. Thank you very much, Alan. I won't fall again.
That's all right. Don't fall again. And then Andrea. I don't really need to introduce Andrea because most of you know the Hawkeye ambitious one of our duo. Andrea herself, though, has a background in ecology and pest eradication, pest management. It's why she's so passionate about this challenge and our mission. It's why she's so passionate and so hard on us sometimes, because she knows what needs to be done and is quite often just trying to convince us to go along with what you know needs to be done. But Andrea took a punt onto Tira Whakamātaki in 2015 when we applied for money to establish ourselves and to go around the community and to ask our whānau what they wanted, and Andrea co-funded us. I'm sure she probably had some raised eyebrows when she offered that money, and she had to justify it, I'm sure, more than once at many meetings. But she has always had unwavering support for us and faith in our initiatives. And when times have been tough and we have wanted to do projects with our communities like seed banking, it's been Andrea who puts her hand up first to come help us. Andrea has also managed to get out in our communities and deliver seed banks, has been on a few road trips, again, one with Waitangi and Dave over in the back more recently to deliver seed banks. And I know you love your time out in the community with us, and they really appreciate having Andrea come out and talk about her vision for Aotearoa New Zealand's environment, which she's going to talk a wee bit about tomorrow, so I won't steal that from her. But Andrea, we also have a taonga and a certificate for you that Matua Kevin's going to give you to recognise the support that you've given us for the last however many years, and to thank you for always being there for us. So kia ora, Andrea. And Danbi, thank you for coming all this way. I know it's 3 a.m. back home and you're very tired, and you're probably yet to FaceTime home, but thank you for coming. We look forward to working with Danbi again in the future. Thank you all. I'm going to wait here. You fellas wait there.
Oh, say some words? Yeah. Kia koutou. Look, I'm pretty overwhelmed by that acknowledgement, and I'd just like to say a really quick thank you to my friends and colleagues at Tira Whakamātaki, who not just through the Myrtle Rust response, but through a whole bunch of other stuff that we do at MPI, you know, sometimes it's a bit challenging, isn't it? And I work for a large, sometimes slow-moving organisation, but I reckon that together we are making some steps forward. Really thrilled to hear of your announcements today, putting some structure around the organisation. It's going to make it easier for us to engage, so thank you. Thank you very much for the acknowledgement, much appreciated, and a special thanks to my friend Waitangi, who helped me immensely through that process. Thank you, Wai. Kia ora.
I don't have any words. Thank you very much, Melanie and the team. It's really, really nice of you to do this and to acknowledge what I've done, but really it's all of the challenge and all of us that have come so far on this journey. Probably this platform does allow me to acknowledge one person that I didn't acknowledge this morning, and that was Professor Bruce Clarkson from Waikato University, who was the inaugural director of this challenge for a couple of years, and he also did support Te Tira Whakamātaki in those early days. So Bruce, thank you. I guess just to say it has been a real pleasure to watch this journey, and I'm really looking forward to the next stages. So kia ora, thank you.
Yeah, I would just like to say kia ora to Mel and the team, the Matua. It's been a real privilege and honor to be here, and I'm so grateful to be learning with everybody here and be on this journey so far from home. Thank you all. Kia ora.
Ka pupu te kohu, ka toto te ainga. Taura maui, ka whiti whiti, a niwa niwa, ka rere te tohu, ka puta, ko tangata.
Mori ora ki a tātou.